Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up and disassemble this HP Envy x360m convertible model 15m-dr1011dx. Alright, so I don't see any screws on here, so most likely they're all hidden underneath these rubber feet. So we're just going to get these out, okay? Yep, alright, so let's peel this rubber foot off. Okay, just like this. Set that aside, and then we're gonna peel this one up too, because I doubt there's just one screw here. And yep, I was right. So you want to try and peel up the adhesive. Okay, peel up the adhesive with the rubber piece so that the rubber doesn't stretch too much. Just like this. Okay, there we go, and we'll set this aside. Alright, now we're going to remove all the screws. So it looks like there's several PH1 or JIS1 screws, and then there's a T5 here. Alright, so make sure your computer is off. So this is having some fan issues, so we're going to be repairing the fan if we can. So we'll find out. Alright, so using the PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver, we're going to remove all the screws. You want to keep them in order because they are different size, shapes, and lengths. Okay. Alright, so there's 5 screws underneath the rubber foot near the hinge. Alright, just like that. And then there's 2 underneath this one. And then there's one T5 screw in the center. So let's switch the T5 screwdriver. And we'll remove that. Alright. There we go. Alright, once we remove all those screws, we should be able to pop this up. Let's see how difficult it'll be. So it looks like the gap is here. Alright, so it looks like if you go where the hinges are, and you kind of pull up here, it looks like the cover actually comes up pretty easily. Okay, so I don't think this computer's ever been opened before, but we're gonna go ahead and try and pull this up. Okay, so we are just pulling up. We pulled up from the hinges, then the center kind of folds up, and here you can see it's actually easily popping up on its own on the right hand side. And then we're just gonna keep wiggling it, and hopefully the rest will come out. All right, this little bit is stuck there for some reason. I don't know why. So you want to be careful. There we go. All right, so just wiggle it around and you can see it just comes out. All right, so I'm going to clean up the fan area here. Apparently there's only one fan in this computer. I don't know why they have 2 slots for fans, but they only use one. It's kind of strange. So I'm just brushing all the dirt and dust off into a trash can that's next to me. Okay. Alright, so I just blew all the scrubbed it all off, and then I have this air blower thing that I use to blow off the loose dust. Alright, the fan I'm actually going to take outside and do that, but we're just going to go over what's inside here. So it looks like there's a M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD right here. What was that? Was that spider webs or something? Okay, that's weird. Anyways, so you got an M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD here. Looks like the RAM is underneath here. Let's try and see about removing it. The SSD, so the battery, actually let's disconnect the battery first. So I'll kind of show how to take it apart more. But we're just going to go over the RAM, the SSD, and the battery. And then I guess the fan, if the fan is easily removable, I'll show how to do that. Okay, right now the fan seems to spin okay. So I'm not sure why, but the customer told me it's making weird noises. Alright, so there's 3 screws along the bottom here. And then there's 3 screws along the top as well. I'm getting a phone call right now, but I'll have to answer it after I finish this. Alright. Alright, so now we got these 3 screws out. we should be able to lift the battery up and pull it straight up like that. So here you see these connect just like this. And then we'll set this aside. The battery model number, if you're looking for it, is SA04XL. It's really dusty underneath, so I'm going to clean that as well. Okay, I'll set that aside. Okay, now I'm going to clean the fan out outside. I'm going to brush it and then use an air blower outside because I don't want all the dust in my work area. All right, I'll be back. All right, so I'm back, cleaned out the dust. And when I blew the fan really fast, I heard the sound that they were talking about, so we're going to see if we can fix that. But first, we're going to check the RAM since we only went over, well, I guess we'll get the SSD. After you disconnect the battery, it's always a good idea, open up the computer, and then press and hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds. The power button's over here, okay. All right, so press and hold the power button, 10 to 15 seconds. This will drain any power, and it will risk any damage to the computer. I mean, it's still possible to damage, but it decreases the chance by a lot. All right, so there we go. Once you do that, we're gonna show how to remove the SSD. So there's one screw here, just remove that screw. And here you see the SSD comes up slightly at an angle, and then you just pull it back just like that. So this is an M.2 SSD. They wrapped all this stuff over the top, so I don't know what type. Here we go. This is actually Intel Optane, so it's kind of strange that they're using an Intel Optane as completely as just a regular SSD, because I don't see a regular hard driver SSD in here. Usually they use the Intel Optane to kind of speed up a computer. Anyways, we'll put the SSD back in. As you notice, I squeezed both together, so that way it's not putting all the stress in one direction. All right, and then we'll put the screw back in. Right, just like this. All right, make sure that it's lined up if you can. It's a little bit difficult to keep this aligned. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove the RAM here. So the RAM is underneath this box. The way I open this up is I get my fingernail underneath. You can use plastic pry tools or whatever, but there you go, it lifts up like that. Then you just go along and lift up the rest. Normally you would pull up this whole thing, okay, but it's attached to this, so just be careful not to kind of pull it too far. Okay, just like that. Here you go. And for some reason they're only using one stick. There's an extra slot, you can add another stick of RAM. This is 8 gigs PC4 2666V, so you do want to keep the PC4 2666V. You can get a 16 gig stick if you want. It's better to have matching sticks, so I would get another 8 gig stick unless you need more RAM, but most of the time 16 gigs is more than enough. All right, so now we're just going to put this back. Make sure to line up the little clips with the metal box, okay, and then we're just going to push this down. All right, make sure everything lines up here just like that. All right, this is the LCD LVDS connector here. You got this connector for the USB port as well as the power button. You got this connector here, I believe that's for the charge port or the DC jack. Speaker connector here. Got wireless card is underneath the board. And you got this connector is most likely for a touchscreen or webcam connector. And then you got this cable here. Is that a fingerprint sensor, I believe? Yep. So fingerprint sensor connects to this board along with the camera on and off switch here. All right, the webcam, and then that connects to the board using this trackpad connector here. You got the keyboard connector here, and then you got this other connector here for the SD card as well as the headphone jack. All these flat cables, they come out by flipping these little latches up, and then you can pull the cables out. I'm not going to mess with those, and I forgot to mention, but there's also the keyboard backlight connector there. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go straight to the fan. These are all using PH1 or JIS1 screws, okay? And it looks like there's 3 screws holding this fan in place. Okay. Just like that. Remove those screws. Okay, now that we've got those screws out, we should be able to lift the fan up. Okay, good. And be careful because the cable is connected there. The way I get these out, I use my fingernails like this, and I kind of just wiggle the connector as I kind of pull it away, and just keep wiggling it. Eventually it pops out just like that. Okay, So this fan is sealed inside here. Let's see if we can actually separate it. Okay, so there's this tape on top. I'm gonna move the laptop aside for now. Okay, set that aside. And here we go. So I don't think we can do anything underneath this sticker, but we're gonna peel it up just to see. Okay, I'm gonna actually let's see if this actually works. So usually I'll just peel it up with my fingernails, but let's try using this tool. It's a plastic razor blade. Nope, that actually is worse. So I'm gonna use my fingernails for this. Okay. All right, and we're gonna peel that. And this actually has a metal shield underneath, so we can't add grease from that side. So we're gonna put this back over. If you want, you got an HP spare part number here, L53541-001. So if you want to replace the fan, that's the HP model number. There's also the fan, the more generic fan model number here, which is DFS5K12115-491H. All right. And there's a 5-volt 0.5 amp fan. All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna actually try and disassemble this fan. So I'm gonna use this razor blade here, and you see these little plastic tabs. Actually, let me get a black thing to make it easier to see. So it'll be harder for me to cut this because this stuff is squishy, but we'll see how it goes. All right, so you got these little black plastic tabs here. We're gonna be cutting these off with a razor blade, okay? So kind of just slice or saw at it slowly. You don't want to try and cut too quick or you can cut yourself. All right, so just go slow, just like that. All right, the problem is this one, they kind of have it recessed, so it's going to be a little difficult to remove, but we're going to just keep continuing. Hopefully we can remove all of them. All right, we got that. So what we're doing is we're cutting off the part that's expanded, so they melt these plastic tabs, so that way it's bigger than the hole that the metal piece has, and that holds this metal plate in place. All right, so we're going to cut this one off as well. All right, so the most difficult one will be this. I don't know how I'm going to cut that, but we'll see. I guess I can kind of get it in at an angle like this, and let's see if we can cut this one. We're going to slowly slice at it. Okay, it looks like it's working. There we go. Okay, perfect. So we got that all out. Now we should be able to lift this metal plate off. Okay, you can see it separates. And do this slowly just in case it's getting caught somewhere. All right, there we go. So we got that out. I'm gonna brush the dust off. Okay, brush the dust off here. And if we're lucky, these propeller blades will come out easily. Let's see here. And we are not lucky. So this one I'm gonna have to check with my customer what they want to do, because if I attempt to just rip this out, there's a good chance that these propeller blades are going to be damaged, and if that happens, then we're not going to be able to repair the fan right away. We'd have to buy a replacement. But it looks like there's the lip here that I can kind of push against. So if I were to kind of push on this, usually I would use a magnet tray with some tips between here to push on the back of the fan. But we'll see depending how this goes, because these fan propeller blades seem kind of more fragile. I might use something to line it, maybe shove some pieces of cut up credit cards under here. And yeah, but let me check with my customer first, see what they want to do, and then I will, if they say okay, then I will go back to recording this video. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Alright, so the customer said okay to attempting the fan repair. If anything, worst case, we'll order a new fan, which is about $25 or so. So what we're going to do is, let's see if I can use this. This might be too wide. Okay, so what I wanted to do was get these, okay, it looks like I can get this, the metal shim here between, so my pry tool. And then I'll try and do this side. Nope, it's too wide. So I was hoping that I can get this underneath, and then I can use that as a surface to push up against. But it looks like I can't really do that. So you might have to do it the other way and just hope that everything turns out okay. Let's see, how would I do this? What I would recommend is if you can get like some shims to go under. Let me see. I'm gonna try with just some pieces of plastic maybe. I would use a thicker piece of plastic if you can. Let's see, do I have the... I'll try with these broken pieces of keyboard things. Oops, I'm dropping my USB stuff. Okay, so let's try using this. So this is what I use to work on keyboards and stuff, but let's see if I can use them as just little shims to hold the stuff in place. So these are just cut up little pieces of credit cards, or those junk mail advertisement credit cards. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put these under here to act as a place to push on the back of the fan propellers, and that way all the force will be put on the pieces of broken of these plastic credit cards instead of on the propellers themselves, and that will help spread out the force, or the, yeah, on the back of these. So I'm using that. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do, let's take this tray like before I've used on other ones. We got this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, let me get that, and we're just gonna get these little plastic pieces evenly spread out between the propeller blades. Okay, preferably on the larger opening parts, so that way I can use that to push on the fan. Okay, so if you look at the back here, you got these larger, the larger openings here, here, and then one here. So I'm gonna try and spread these out to be in the middle of those. Okay, just like that. All right, and then what we're gonna do, like the other fans before, I don't know if you've seen my other videos, but let me try and get this more even. Okay, so you kind of want to get that more centered. This is going to be a little bit tough to try and keep them evenly spaced, but we'll see what we can do. All right, so this should help because these, okay, let's see if I can, okay, so like that. All right, I'm gonna leave it straight up this way, so hopefully you get the idea. We're just gonna get these shims in there. Okay, you want to make sure that the shims are just pushing against the fan blades and not the microchip, the controller chip that I don't know what you would call it, whatever makes the fan spin. And anyways, we're gonna get 3 of these thingies. Okay, and probably need some shorter versions of these. These are too tall, but basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna take these. I'm gonna use the other ends of it because this will probably give a more stable. Okay, so we'll use these larger ones. And let's see what else. Okay, well, we only need 3 larger ones. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is space them so that they're pushing on the back of the credit card shims. Okay, so it's going to be tough now because I can't really see where I'm lining it up to, so I'm going to actually have to look from underneath. Sorry, you're going to get not a very good view, but hopefully you get the idea. Okay, just like that. Alright, get the second one. Okay, again, you want to try and get it underneath. It's really tough to get this lined up properly. Hopefully they are lined up right. Okay, and we need the last one over here. Sorry, my head's getting in the way, I know, but do what I gotta do. All right, and once you get them all lined up, okay, hopefully they're, come on, stay lined up, please. All right. Sorry, I need to look from underneath to make sure it's lined up properly. Nope, it's not lined up properly. Man, this is tough to line up. Okay. I guess what you can do is you can kind of slide it around until it kind of falls in the slot there, like that. And this last one, it's not. Okay, well, close enough, I hope. Nope, I need to make sure it's going in between, not in the. Okay, like that. Alright, so now we're going to just push on this and hope that it puts enough force to pop the propellers off. Alright, just like this. Oops, I dropped one. Again, this is pretty tough to get lined up right. Alright, oh. Okay, let's see here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to actually take these little plastic shims out first. I'll get it lined up, and then after that, then I'll add the shims in place, okay? Because here you can actually see where the metal things are going in. So here you can see here. All right, get the second one over there and the third one over here. So here now you can see all three are lined up. So now what I'm gonna do, let's try and put these metal or these plastic shims in. And hopefully they will stay in place. That's the problem, is making sure that they all stay in place. So if I were to put this here, okay, lines up, you can see. All right, let's get that shim in. Here we go. Let's get this shim in. Okay. Hopefully it's gonna stay in place. And let's get the last one in. This one's gonna be tough because I have to slide it from the side here. Let's go this way. Alright, and then I'm going to use this to kind of help guide it. And then once you get it in place, just lift it slightly. Get it over there. There we go. Alright, so let's try and push down on this and hopefully it will work. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Alright, I found a better way to do it. I do still need to make a better tool to do this, because there's a much easier way, which basically makes a circle. So let's say you get these pieces and you just fold them over to be like an L shape, okay, like this. And if you attach a bunch of these L shapes together, you can basically slide them all around the fan like this, and then you can actually use that to pull it up. But you want it to be like a piece of metal or something, not these plastic bits. But this did work, so that's probably a better method than what I was doing before. So I'll probably continue using that method in the future, unless I can make that tool that I'm talking about. So, all right, so we'll set this aside. We don't need that anymore. All right, so I found an easier way to do this. So usually what happens when the fans start getting noisy or screwed up, it's because the bearings, dust or moisture or something got in, or just the grease is going bad. And what we need to do is just put some new grease in there. So now that we got the fan piece out, if you want, you can go ahead and brush this stuff out as well. All right. Then, like I did in all my other ones, we'll get some synthetic motor oil. You can use whatever bearing oil. Don't use WD-40 or cooking oil. That won't hold up well. You want to use like some high-speed or motor oil. Everybody, well, a lot of people have cars or things with like maybe like a lawnmower. If you have a gas lawnmower or something, you can actually pull the dipstick out and get the oil from there if you don't have a bottle of oil and you don't want to go buy a bottle of oil. All right, so basically what you do is you just get that, like I did, a needle, put the oil in there. You can also clean off the shaft of this. All right, and then put the fan propeller on. We're just going to spin it lightly without snapping it down. All right, then we're going to pull this back out, clean the shaft off again. Then we're going to get some more oil. All right, you just need a drop. Okay, and then put the oil in there. All right, and that should be good. So what we're gonna do now, we just put the fan propeller back on, just like this. Okay, make sure it goes in right, and then push that down. You'll hear it click in place, and here you can see the fan spins nice and free. Okay, and it looks good. All right, close up the oil, put that away. All right, so I'm gonna have to test this with my high-speed air blower, but this should be good. Take the metal plate, put that back on top. Okay, make sure to line up the raised plastic edges. Okay, and then because you don't have like plastic to melt back on there, what you can do is just get pieces of tape. All right, you want like a nice thin sticky tape. All right, one that can hold really well. And then what you do is you just get the tape, and then where really close to where the melted plastic pieces are, just stick it on, wrap it over, right, just like that, and that should hold it in place. And we're just gonna put it close to all those melted plastic pieces. All right. Just like that. Wrap it over. Okay. Alright, you don't really need to secure this too crazy strong because it's not like anything is going to try and separate this, so yeah, as long as you just have it so that it's staying together and helps keep the airflow into the fan, not flowing out of it. Alright, just wrap the tape over. Right, this last one's kind of in a weird spot, so I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully it will stay. You don't want it to go over this foam stuff, so be careful because the foam actually helps seal the air. So just go over. You can have it go a tiny bit on, but you don't want to like cover. So there we go. Right, so you wrapped the fan. We got the adhesive all around. I'm gonna put a tiny bit more on one spot here. Okay, just like that. All right, so there we go. We got the fan. Should be repaired. Here you can see there's some dust, so I'm going to clean that off with the toothbrush. All right, we'll see if it comes out. It did. And then also the heat sink here, you want to brush that as well, just to make sure there's no dust stuck in there. Okay. So it looks a lot better. It's still a little dirty there, but that's just like grease or whatever. It doesn't come out. All right, so we're gonna put the fan back in. All right, move some stuff out of the way. All right, so we'll take the fan and we'll just put it back where it came from. Make sure you put it the same way with the metal pins facing up. The other side is completely solid plastic. So make sure you put it back the same way. Reconnect it like that. All right, get the fan in. There we go. And then we'll just put back the 3 screws that were holding the fan in place. You want to put them loosely first just to make sure everything is lined up. Okay, last one here. All right, and then hold the fan down, tighten all the screws. Like this. All right, and there we go. Now we can put the cover back on. So we got that fixed. I'm going to zoom back out. All right, let's put back the battery first, of course. So just get it all lined up. Let's see here. Where's it? That. All right. Make sure this little nub down here lines up, and then also the one down here. Once you get those two lined up, you can drop this down, push this so that it connects. All right. And then we'll just put back all 6 screws. All right, that one there. This one up here. Okay, other one up here. Right, and the 3 at the bottom. Oops. now that we got all those screws back in, we'll just put this cover back on. So we're going to start with the bottom side, since last time we pulled up the back here first. So down here, get that lined up, clip those back in. You can make sure that corner goes in, and then just push it all down. Make sure everything looks like it's snapped in place. Alright, snap that in place. So this part actually doesn't snap in place, the screws hold it down. So we're going to go ahead and put back all these screws now. Alright. Just like that. Alright, then we just put back the rubber piece. Start with one side here, okay. Once you got that side in, just slowly go along, making sure it follows the groove. Usually these rubber pieces end up getting all messed up, so if it's not fitting right, just know that's kind of normal. Then you want to get this edge in before you get the rest down, because it is going to want to like bow upwards, okay? And then just go towards the center, and here you can see it's kind of like bubbling up. So you just slide it over, and that will kind of help push it in. Alright, there we go. Alright, now we put back the two screws under this one. Alright. Then we'll put back the other rubber cover. Alright, again, start with one corner like that. Slowly work your way over. Alright, and then we'll go to the other side. So the adhesive was kind of peeling up, so we're going to peel it off and readjust it. Alright, just like that. Alright, and then we're going to put this side of the rubber piece. And then slowly work our way towards the center again. And there we go. Alright, and then last screw. And these things are really hard to put back completely aligned the way they used to be, so just know that there's a good chance it might actually come out. Anyways, last screw, T5. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe. Help others find my videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.